Empathy has a performance problem. Right now, a lot of you are probably performing empathy and you have no idea that you're doing it. My name is Sharon Steed. I'm a keynote speaker and empathy consultant and a person who stutters. And this is a quick keynote on learning the difference between performed empathy and practice empathy. Let's get into it. You know that saying, fake it till you make it? It was never meant for people who did not intend to put in the work. It's for those people who want to improve. They want to not only be seen in the moment as that thing that they're faking, however, they also want to be known as the real deal long term. And this mindset is for those people who are secure enough to make a mistake in public. And, of course, they're going to perform a couple of times. However, their intent is to turn that performance into a real practice. And this is also the case with empathy. To be truly empathetic so that others can really trust you, you have to shift from performed empathy to practiced empathy. One of the biggest surprises of my life came after I gave my very first talk. Of course, I was genuinely shocked that I couldn't pass out or die. Seriously. However, mostly I was really surprised at how much people took away from my words, how impacted they were by my story and my struggle to find my voice as a person who stutters, and my openness about how much of a difficult time it was and continues to be. And also how much they learned about empathy, because that was never my actual intent. You see, I was talking about patience and vulnerability. I was going on and on about the benefits of really slowing down in this incredibly fast-paced world and the value of showing other people just a little bit more of who you really are to form better connections. What I didn't realize, though, was how much of the heavy lifting, stuttering was going to do in delivering that message. My speech impediment really forced people to do a couple of things. One, to slow down, and two, to intentionally listen. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to say things, so they had to slow down. And other times, it might be a bit more challenging to really understand what I'm saying, and so they had to sincerely listen. Unbeknownst to me, my words and my actions aligned perfectly. I was teaching people to actually practice empathy, not just perform it. Now, you may think that you are practicing empathy. You're saying all the right things. You're nodding and smiling and frowning at the appropriate times. You may even be making people feel seen in that moment. However, you might actually just be putting on a performance. So what's the difference? Well, first, performed empathy is in your words, and practiced empathy is in your silences. It's completely natural to focus more on what we say than what we hear. Our words make us feel more in control, more powerful. And so we view the act of speaking as immensely impactful in how others both perceive us and how they feel when they're with us. Because of that, we can begin to put on a performance of empathy. Practice empathy, on the other hand, happens in the silences. You listen to really understand, to consider, to learn, to grow. And don't just listen to respond and absolutely not to judge. True understanding can never be performed. Second, performed empathy is a destination, where practice empathy is a journey. Consider the definition of practice. It is to perform repeatedly so as to become proficient. You see, a performance assumes a culmination. Yes, you practice a ton to get to that performance. However, eventually you do perform and you stop practicing because it's over. Whereas a practice, on the other hand, continues indefinitely because the destination isn't the points. The point is continuous progression. And finally, performed empathy is going to happen when it's easy. Practice empathy is going to happen when it's inconvenient. When things get hard, we revert to the mean, the long-term average of our behaviors. So, if you only perform empathy in your moments of comfort and ease, but not when it hits the fan, people are going to see right through it. Practice empathy isn't always perfect. However, it's always present. And that consistency is what's going to build an incredible culture on your team. And it's also going to cultivate a feeling of true trust.